D&D players of Reddit, what's your best story when you or a party member rolled either a 20 or a 1? Our group has a joke that one of the group members' grandma is a holy deity since she always bakes us cookies, calls us on our birthdays, etc. Basically just sweet all across the board. Well, our DM made an entire campaign on her being kidnapped and us going to rescue her. This campaign lasted 7 months and then some. When we finally get to the wizard keeping her captive, he is giving us a whole ass speech while standing in front of her, seated and chained up. Me, a delister fugnut, draws my bow and shoots an arrow at him. I roll an at 1. The wizard steps to the side, and my arrow hits Gran Gram in the face, killing her instantly. I hold the title Grandma Slayer. No! Not Grandma! We were against a much more powerful boss than we could handle, so we had to flee. It was an undead, so she was an evil queen of our land, some 100 years ago, and someone brought her back to life. Sadly, our bard was stuck on the other side of the room and could not get out. He decided that with his charisma, he would try to woo the queen into marrying him, thus escaping death. Our GM thought it was ridiculous, and honestly it was, so he just went along with thinking he would solve the problem one way or another, as he didn't really want one of us to die at level 2. He told our bard to roll a d20, and he got a 20. Now, our GM had to uphold the critical chance while also not ruining the boss's ambitions. It resulted in our bard becoming a spy for her while he would also spy on her. Honestly, it was too funny seeing our GM and bard improvising a love scene on the spot between a character about to be killed and another trying to resist his charms and marriage advances. Ah, yes. What a wonderful bard. A friend was running a game where there was an impossible amount of ones being rolled. Finally, he just gave up on the normal stuff and said, "You shit your armor." And the next action, that character also rolled a 1 and he said, "You slip and you fall in your shit." Oh, fuck. As I slip and fall in my own ship, like, bonk. Oh, that's just perfection. Perfection. Sounds like a very fun session. We were fighting through a castle and came across the main boss, who was a knight in very fancy heavy armor. We were already out of shape from the previous fight, so one of our players casted Mage Hand and tried using it to unbuckle his armor. Our DM had him roll to see if he could manage it. Not 20! Ooh! Our cleric then blasted him with Guiding Bolt. His armor's gone, and his AC went from 22 to 12. We pulled lots of shenanigans on our DM. My character wanted to enter the pub like a badass. I rolled a 1 and broke my foot. No! My poor little piggies! That's what you get for being a badass. The opposite of being a badass. Absolute stupidity. It was pretty early in the campaign, in my first campaign ever. Our group was in some place, a conference hall I think, and being attacked by some lizard dude who was supposed to be more than a minor villain in the campaign, I think. I never found out for sure. My character was an ex-marine and big game hunter or something like that. DM. Lizard guy shows his face. What are you going to do? B. I shoot him in the face with some big ass gun that did insane damage. The DM walking me through. Well, you're going to need to roll very high to do that. Me gets the roll. And DM's like, oh, well, now you need to roll for damage. And I roll for the highest damage possible. The DM stares in shock, and I'm like, well, I guess he's dead. I think I shaved off a few hours off the campaign by that move. And this guy says he had something similar happen in an encounter. DM had 3 stone statues, and one comes to life, so we start fighting it. And the second guy to take a hit gets a nat 20. He then rolls a percentile to get the extra effect and gets 100. The table states it's an instant death. Doom for all. Thing was, the NPC had over 400 HP. We were 8 level 1s, and he had planned to have each of the other statues come to life, one after the other, as we whittled the main one down. It was meant to be a massive and long battle, where not everyone would make it to the end. The look on the DM's face as the player gets to the 100, oh, that, my friends, is priceless. Not D&D, but a different game. Wizard tried to cast cantrips to impress some people. This is basically the spell version of lighting off fireworks to look cool. It's the easiest spell in the game. So, he fails, and rolls on the spell failure table. Major summoning of an angelic or demonic being, and then rolls the rank and gets the worst possible outcome, the Prince of Hell. Literally, the demon, who is the devil's right hand, appears unbound on Earth. By rules of the game, he roams freely, doing whatever the hell he wished for 666 days. If it was so 669, I would say nice, but it's not, so let's ignore that. It pretty much destroyed the game. I was DMing. Players were having a social together at a restaurant tavern. All courteous people. 2 players want to pay for the entire party. Turned into a combat encounter to get the bill first. Player A manages to secure the bill and pays 10 gold. Player B decides they want to sneak 10 gold into Player A's pouch, and they roll sleight of hand. Dexterity check. Natural 1. Player B is now groping Player A under the table. I'm judging you. I am judging you. Why would you grope them? How da? We were supposed to rescue a kid with strange, spooky powers, but our encounter was not going well. DM made the demon holding the kid sprout wings and start flying away with him. As the ranger, I rolled to hit with a bramble arrow. What's an arrow? To stop the demon escaping the field. I convinced the DM to give me advantage. Still rolled 2 1s. I asked if a critical miss could mean I hit the kid instead. DM said he would allow it. I used a spell slot to add force damage, hoping to knock the kid loose. It worked. I rolled basically max for damage. DM said the demon dropped the kid and he landed on a root and got impaled. Instant death. So instead of his original plan, which was for the demon to escape and us to track him down and actually rescue the kid from a winnable fight, the whole campaign derailed into finding an uber powerful wizard who could resurrect our very dead kid, who no longer mattered to the forces of hell. Bloody hell, pun intended. We were in a room, or cave, I don't quite remember. But I was getting kind of paranoid that our DM wanted us to explore certain rooms more. You know, the he's hiding something feeling. So I was just checking into every detail, but my rolls were all bad, so the outcome was just terribly funny. I checked the floor for traps and such. You see a floor and nothing besides the floor. I check of the pile of rocks. You see rocks. They are very rocky indeed. It was so bad my party bought me a t-shirt about it. Love it. It was a game of Numera. For context, certain items in the game are classified as artifacts. And if you use them, you roll a d20, and on a 1, the artifact just breaks. So we had infiltrated an enemy base, but we were caught, and an AI that was running the place was setting off alarms and coordinating defensive efforts and just generally being a nuisance. So I asked the GM, is the AI classified as an artifact? And the GM, not knowing where I was going with this, answered that it was. So I said, I use the AI. What? Okay, roll a d20. And I rolled a 1. Instantly blinked the AI out of existence. Problem solved. Well, the nuclear reactor that was being managed by the AI didn't take too kindly to that, but that's a different story. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, and all that good interaction stuff, or I will steal your kneecaps and find you in your house, and then sell all your teeth to the tooth fairy to make ends meet. Okay, have a nice day. Bye.